Holly, I'll start with you. Having been up and running much earlier than any of us, I'm sure the brain is fully fired up. I'm interested from your perspective on what really customer service means for you. Having been the president at the retail banking institution, serving on the executive committee, what are you telling your colleagues at Bank of America about the role that you feel, how important customer service is?
Yeah, well, first, Caroline, it's great to be here with you. I was up early, but now I'm really hitting my stride. So I will crater in about 2 hours. But so customer service for us means giving clients whatever they want in any channel that they want to interact with us in, whether it's digital, online, in a financial center, over the phone. It's really serving their needs however they see fit. And I joined the consumer business as head of client experience 6 years ago. So coming in to lead the retail bank, it gave me a really good foundation to get underneath what is the experience, how can we make it better, how can we constantly raise the bar, and even look beyond our four walls at what is making client experiences great for consumers.
And MetLife, it's an interesting relationship you have from a customer perspective, because we're all deeply anxious, I know I am, about your own personal finances right now, and this is a macroeconomic uncertain time, but MetLife, you have to be hand in hand with people around some of the most emotional times in their life. It's about life insurance, about family, about health. How do you have that nuance to the customer service?
Yeah, you're exactly right. At MetLife, really when we think about customer service, it has to start with our value statement and our value proposition. Always with you, building a more confident future. And while that statement applies across stakeholders, to our customers, always with you in our communities, with our associates, and even our shareholders, it's most resonant when it's talking about the customer. Because as you said, Caroline, what a customer is coming to MetLife for is a promise that we'll be there in those moments that matter most. And as we think about customer service, we really actually talk about it in terms of customer care. Because while we're often servicing a transaction, we're caring for that whole person. And sometimes we're caring for their families or loved ones that have just lost a person. So it really is, very, very similar to what you talked about in terms of meeting customers where they want to be met, but with a real nuance towards caring for the whole and building the relationship with that customer grounded in trust and empathy.
How do you then square this needs to be digitized with the human factor?
Yeah, so it's a constant balancing act, right? We talk all the time about delivering high-tech experiences when that's appropriate for transactional inquiries and when that's what a customer wants, with those high-touch moments that matter most, right? And often we think about it in two lenses. One is, what's the context of the need? The second is, where is that customer at personally, right? So some customers, regardless of the transactional type, are not comfortable doing something highly digital. They want to speak to the person. Others are very comfortable doing things digitally. But when we put the added lens on what is the interaction about, that's where I think we really have to find the right balance with, if it's something where they're looking for information and an in and out type inquiry is the best way to go. Often we see that that's digital.
Yeah.
But we find quite often as well, because of the nature of the work that we do, that we have people that are calling us, someone bought a life insurance policy, no one's reached out to us in 20 years, and then it's their child or their spouse saying, I know that my father or my husband had a life insurance with policy, what do I do next, right? So the whole idea of those personal trusted connections is so important for us, while we can digitize and automate the more transactional inquiries, right? We've got to be able to, exactly as you said, we need to be able to meet them where they want to be met.
Talking of digital, we want you to be part of this conversation. Please do send your questions via the app, because we can integrate it within our conversation. But Holly, I of course, full disclosure, Bank of America customer here, using the app daily. And when I do go onto it, I'm quite often perhaps just bought something on Amazon. Perhaps I've just been downloading something on Spotify. I've had a very easy technological experience. How important is, therefore, the digital arm of when you're servicing me as a bank client?
The digital arm is critical and has just skyrocketed over the last decade. And I'm glad you mentioned those outside competitors, because we really look at the digital space as where the future is, supported by our physical footprint and our specialists. To your point, there are certain moments that you just cannot replace a person on the other side of the table. But digital is the key, and we look beyond financial services to set the bar for our teams. What are those great experiences? What is innovative out in the marketplace, even beyond financial services, to really set the bar for our teams to make a great experience for our clients digitally. Zappos comes to mind. I was talking with somebody this morning about Zappos and their great experience online. So we look everywhere. Apple, Amazon, Zappos, you name it, to really think about how we translate that into the financial space. So today, you can order a cup of coffee on your phone. It's there waiting for you. If you're from Boston, you're going to Dunkin' Donuts. If you're not, you're probably going to Starbucks. But it's there waiting for you the way you ordered it perfectly, right? So that's one example. Translate that into financial services. If you go on your mobile app, you can order foreign currency in the denominations you want. You can walk by a financial center, pick it up, it's ready to go for you. So that's our equivalent, not quite as good as a cup of coffee, but similar. So those are the experiences that are setting the bar for consumers broadly, and we're looking to meet and even raise that bar for our clients to make the experience as seamless as possible.
And I know Upwise, for example, the MetLife app, that is also about financial education, which is so crucial in these moments of concern, anxiety. Many people haven't, experienced a recession. I mean, we put 2020, the V-shape to one side, a recession for quite a while, and we all start to get worried. Are you about the learning experience as well as the relationship, ongoing conversation experience?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Caroline. It's about helping our customers by educating them, and as you talked about, Holly, ideally, you want customers to be able to start in one place and be able to pick up seamlessly in another. Similarly, we're looking at how do we ensure that we are serving the customer's whole life and that we are there for them through those most important times, financial wellness being a key wellness, just as health and life and other wellnesses would be.
Holly, a lot of this must come down to talent. So when you're thinking about Dunkin's latest upgrade to its app, when you're thinking about Amazon and the like, and I like how you call them the competitors out there from a digital experience, how much of an onus is it on you to have the right talent building the right product for you?
Critical. I mean, the talent is critical, not only building the digital properties and enhancing the experience, but then also our talent who are interacting with our clients, right? So while a client may come in and want to talk to a specialist, we are really driving towards a much more integrated experience so that those specialists are as equipped to talk about the digital advantages and what you can do, and really partner with the client to get them there. So not only is it innovative talent designing the experience for our clients, but then it's our own, employees who are having that dialogue with our customers every day, because that integrated experience really is what's going to provide the easy path for them.
And Holly, of course, it's not always easy depending on what generation you're from. Gen Z are using their apps in a whole different manner with such sophistication vis-a-vis Gen X or older. And I'm interested, not to dampen Gen X, you're down with the kids too, but I'm thinking my parents who are just about persuaded to get onto WhatsApp, but how do you make sure that it's a one-size-fits-all experience here, or is it more then you need boots on the ground, and then you need a Bank of America on the corner?
Yeah, no, it definitely is an experience that we are aiming towards all generations, all demographics. While the usage in younger generations is higher, we certainly see plenty of retirees, boomers, using our digital properties. They love it. My father does get Erica and Zelle mixed up a bit and calls it Zella, but beyond that, I mean,
I like Zella.
That's right, Zella is really good. But they are very equipped to use those digital properties. Education helps us, right? So some people may need more hand-holding than others, and really providing them the tutorials and the specialist support to get there is how we're approaching it. So, everyone comes at it a little bit differently, but we ultimately want to get them there because it is a much better experience. So, digital provides all sorts of benefits for the bank in terms of consistency and approach and scale, but from a customer perspective, it is just so much easier when you think of where we are today versus a decade ago. To deposit a check, you do not have to get into your car and drive to a financial center. You can do it on your phone. So we've come a long way. Those digital experiences are critical for a great user experience. And as you said, starting and ending in digital, off-ramping and on-ramping is really where we want to take it.
We've got an audience question, so thank you very much for being engaged. And they're asking Kristine about how technology can drive innovation in customer loyalty, because a lot of the time it's about drawing people in, but then it's about ensuring that they stick with you. Certainly you said it's an ongoing relationship. Are you being innovative at the moment with MetLife to be able to ensure people stay and actually tell their younger generation to come to MetLife, their children, maybe entice their parents to do so, or indeed the person who lives down the street in their own culture, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously we're in a world where technology is key, right? And I was thinking, Holly, what you said about the talent in ensuring that we are bringing in people that represent the full customer base that we serve, how we look at bringing in that innovative talent in order to drive the new capabilities that we know customers are looking for. We do that in a lot of ways at MetLife. We have actually a dedicated fund set up where we try and draw on our associates. They know the customers best to come up with innovative ways in order for us to change how we're servicing customers. We also obviously are working on lots of ways to digitize the full end-to-end customer journeys. One of the things we're looking at now is we paused and took a step back to say, what are some of the most critical interactions that customers have with us, and how can we really understand what those moments are and how someone can seamlessly move through the process. So we're right in the midst of re-engineering our systems and our processes to be able to do that for customers while we're focused on...
How do you think that'll look? Can you give us any sense?
So if I think about it, for us, a moment that matters most in insurance is obviously a claim, right? And if you think about it, a customer likely would want to, for a simple claim, initiate that through a digital interaction. As the claim is processing, there's lots of ways to provide proactive statusing. Think of, the tracker on a lot of the apps that you talked about. But then there's also a lot of questions that people have throughout, as I talked about. When it's new to someone, it's making sure that we're coupling that with understanding that as this works through some of the digital channels, our customer care associates understand where it's at, and if a customer's calling, can see that they've just been on the app, that they've just done this, so that it's truly a complement.
Something's just happened.
Right, of that high-tech, high-touch experience. And that's really the work that we're focused on right now, so that, again, we can really be there for customers in the way that they want us to be there.
The rest of the executives at Bank of America, do they totally get it that in this environment, as perhaps we pull back a little bit, whether it's in whatever area of exuberance we've been within the market, they understand that we still really need to invest in innovation, particularly retail, client focusing? innovation on the digital front?
Right, they do. I mean, it comes from the very top with our CEO, and it's, our conversation every day, all day, is around where are we investing to get the biggest impact for our client, right? And really putting the client experience out there front and center, and having an honest dialogue about where we can get better and what we need to invest to get there. So, we've had very consistent investment in the digital space over the past decade plus, and that will continue because the bar is just continuing to be raised for that end-to-end digital experience. As Kristine said, keeping clients in digital where they want to be kept in digital, constantly innovating, making it a seamless experience. So, there are new technologies, new approaches, and the consumer is always changing.
Yeah.
Right? So their expectations are changing, and we have to change along with them. So that continuous, consistent investment in technology will absolutely continue for us. And from a cultural perspective, our leadership team is committed to that, but at the same time, we're also committed to having that honest dialogue around the customer. And, at big companies, I'm sure you face the same thing. You have processes and multiple units across the company, but you really have to boil it down to what this meant for the client in order to get to the right target state.
Yeah.
And that has certainly been an active dialogue for us as a team.
It dovetails nicely into another audience question, so thank you very much for those who are virtual and here in real life. They're saying that you are two very well-established companies and brands. The major growth coming in the next 5 to 10 years, is it therefore, Kristine, investment in technology? Is it about ensuring the loyalty of the people you already have, or is it about driving growth outside, bringing in new customers through a digital experience?
I think it's both, right?
Yeah.
So we want to deepen the relationships with the customers we have. And as you said, in our U.S. market, it is largely a B2B business. And how do we ensure that we are, for our existing customer base, continuing to provide the offerings, differentiating ourselves from a customer delivery perspective to be able to deepen those relationships while naturally growing new relationships. We have a very strong presence in the large market, but how do we get an equally as large market share in some of our middle and smaller markets?
And is that around marketing as well? How are you thinking? There's always that snapping at the heels idea of fintech and these new kids on the block coming in with app-only offerings, no boots on the ground, no bricks and mortar. Is that the competition? Is that the fear of where the growth goes to? Or is it actually more keeping your clients and expanding how they use your products?
It is both, as Kristine said, right? And core, everyone is a competitor to us. We look at everyone, right? And we learn across the board. But the marathon here is having a great experience for your existing client base. And we do business with 1 in 2 households across the country. So we have a very big client base. We have to drive that satisfaction, the experience to higher levels, and continue to grow those relationships. So it is very much a relationship-based strategy. That being said, you always have new entrants to the market. You have younger clients, and you want to be innovative and current and modern for them to ultimately deliver a great relationship value for those clients as well. So it is twofold, but it really comes down to having a great experience. And for us, very much a relationship-based model versus, counting on the next biggest transaction. It really is having a long-term relationship with those clients.
And both of you have spoken very eloquently about how you need the right talent on board to do that. How are you using, Kristine, the team that you have at the moment to keep driving the innovation, to keep thinking holistically about a customer?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I've led customer service teams kind of throughout my career in different companies, and I'm not doing that currently at MetLife, but the customer service, the teams that face off with our customers, both in our call centers that talk to our end customers, as well as in our service organization that supports our group customers, the companies, in so many ways, they know the customer best, right? They talk to them all day, every day. And we involve those teams in the largest transformation programs we have around designing customer experiences, right? So we very much focus on what is it that we are looking to design and build end to end, and how do we ensure that we're bringing that perspective. And if I think about some of the companies that we service in our group business, they represent just about every industry. So you talked earlier, Holly, about, you know, in reality for us, our benchmark, and we know customers look at the last best experience they have is our new minimum standard, right? So we have a built-in feedback loop through these customers and our service associates that support them around what it is we should be focused on. So we do include them in a lot of our design thinking, in the transformation programs that we're working on, and they're there alongside through the whole process, anything that we're doing in terms of driving new experiences, new digital experiences, new customer-facing experiences for us.
We've only got a minute left. What, for each of you, is another company outside of your sphere who you've had a great customer service experience with recently?
I love Nordstrom. I think, you know,
True that. I like that too.
It's great. And it's the simple things for me. It's great experience when you walk into those stores. They treat you like an individual as they walk around the counter and hand you your bag. And it feels like a very personal experience, even though you're one of millions of clients. So I love that connection that they make with their client.
Kristine?
Yeah, and it's initially the first company that popped to mind was Neiman Marcus, and for the very similar reasons, right?
We're agnostic here to all
you
these.
You have someone that, you know, I typically work with there, so there's that. But if I think more kind of broadly and not specific to myself, I still think Zappos. I know you referenced Zappos. Zappos is a great company, you know, whether it's, you know, they were one of the first out with the free shipping and return. I feel like you can call them and say, I messed up, and it's like literally the idea of the customer is always right, and how you can seamlessly go from doing something online if you have to talk to them on their call center. It's just such a holistic experience. And I still feel like they're a company. I had the chance to visit their headquarters a couple years ago. I still feel like they're a company that just gets it.
One thing that you're really proud of in the last week or so from a customer service perspective?
So, do you want me to go first, Holly?
Sure.
I would say, so we actually just celebrated Customer Service Week. Actually, it was probably a couple weeks ago. And the pride that, so we listen to calls routinely all the time, right? All the way up through our ELT. The pride that those individuals have in how they deliver for customers, there's nothing like it to me than to get out to those sites and be energized by it. So I'd have to say it's our front-facing teams.
Yeah, I don't want to repeat. That certainly is top of my list, because that's grassroots. Those are the boots on the ground that get it done. But I think what makes me most proud is when I get a note from a customer that talks about the service from one of our frontline teams. So a customer who's taken the time to find my email, to give praise to somebody. And I do get those every week. And that takes a lot, and I think it speaks volumes for the front line. So that's really where you can sit back in your chair for 30 seconds and enjoy it.
Feel good about it.
That's right.
Congratulations, both of you. And, well, thank you for bringing your anecdotal evidence, but also what you wake up every day thinking about to our audience here. Thank you also, audience, for your questions. Please give it up for Holly and for Kristine.